Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about growing in self-confidence as an Enneagram 5. This video is part of the series that I've started a few weeks ago with respect to how to grow in self-confidence using your Enneagram type. So far I've talked about types 1, 3, 6 and 9, and today I'm going to be talking about type 5. So all about that in the next few minutes. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's dive in. So again, a quick disclaimer before we dig deeper into the topic. Most of the things that I will be sharing today with you are related to the Enneagram 5 and specifically to people who are an Enneagram 5 core or have 5 as their wing or part of their tri-type. These are the people that will find this information as the most useful and relevant. However, because the 9 Enneagram types all represent human tendencies, they are all related to things that everybody, to a certain extent, experiences. Everybody can get value from these videos, even if that's not your core type, your main type, your wing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's talk about what happens to Enneagram type 5 individuals when they deal with stress. What are issues related to self-confidence and how those issues can be dealt with. Okay, so Enneagram 5 is part of the thinking triad or the head triad. This means that they are a type that very heavily relies on the mind, on thinking, on facts, on pros and cons. And I feel like out of all of the 3 types that are part of this triad, we see this most stereotypically in Enneagram type 5. 6 and 7 are also part of this triad. We also have these tendencies. But because Enneagram 5 is also known as the investigator, we also recognize the fact that this is a type that very much heavily relies on their intellect, on knowledge, on understanding. It is very important for a type 5 to feel that they are an expert in a field, that they have all the knowledge, all the understanding, that they know things to bits and pieces, that they are an expert in something. That's something that really helps them to feel safe, or at least it gives them the illusion that they are safe. That's the coping mechanism that is really specific to this Enneagram type. In positive intelligence, PQ, another system that I've talked about that I'm very interested in, which is very similar to the Enneagram, the equivalent to Enneagram 5 is also known as the hyper intellectual one or the hyper rational one. So again, the dots kind of connect in the sense that this type has a sensitivity or a soft spot when it comes to their intellectual knowledge and the theoretical knowledge and the mind per se. And why am I highlighting this so much? Feeling confident or self-confidence per se is much more about your emotions and your body. Feeling confidence is a feeling that you need to experience on an emotional level, but also a feeling that you need to feel in your gut, in your body. It needs to be embodied for it to last. Now, Enneagram type 5 individuals, because they rely so much on their mind, on their head, on the intellect, on the facts, on the knowledge, sometimes they almost block themselves from accessing the wisdom of their emotions or their bodies, their gut, their instinct, which means they can really struggle with a sense of self-confidence because they try to find it here. They try really hard to get that knowledge, to get access to how they can do it, to the extent that they often really intellectualize problems. They really focus way too much on understanding them on an intellectual level, on a rational level, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. It can be a great thing to understand, but it's not enough. So something that's really, really important for type 5 individuals is to find ways to connect more with their other 2 intelligence centers, the heart and the gut. This could be done in different ways, whether that's going to therapy, going to coaching, doing sports, going outside and taking walks more regularly. By the way, this is quite common knowledge nowadays. Lots of scientists support the fact that walking is one of the greatest things you can do for your mental health too, not just for your body. I also recently saw a post There's an Instagram page of a lady called the Holistic Psychologist. She has really amazing content, and she was sharing how some of the newer research in neuroscience as well is indicating that going for a walk regularly is one of the best ways to take care of your mental health and to regulate your nervous system when you're stressed and anxious. There are multiple benefits to this, and this kind of relates to all of the other practices about moving the body, whether that's, engaging in a workout type of setting, or going for hikes, or dancing, or doing some more spontaneous freestyle kind of movement. Really getting deeper into that embodiment part is something that Enneagram 5 can really benefit from. Or getting access to that emotional wisdom by exploring them in a therapeutic or coaching setting, by using artistic expression as a way to kind of connect better with that part of the self, by doing reflection work, journaling, whatever works for you. But create more space for yourself to access the knowledge and the wisdom from these other two intelligence centers. Because when you overly rely on the head, there's always going to feel like something is missing when it comes to your sense of self-worth and self-confidence. Because it's about rational, and it's not really the emotional sense of confidence. My next point is related to the fact that we know that Enneagram 5 integrates to Enneagram 8. So this means that when they develop, when they grow in their level of self-confidence, people with this Enneagram type start to take on some of the positive characteristics and qualities of Enneagram 8. So what does this mean? It means that the natural tendency of Enneagram 5 to kind of isolate, because they tend to be more introverted. They are also known as a withdrawn type, similarly to 4 and 9. So their natural tendency is to spend more time alone, to be less invested in groups, in companies. They have less of a focus on leadership and exposing themselves. And sometimes this can create problems with self-confidence, because again, it creates that barrier with other people. And a lot of our self-confidence is rooted in our relationships with others. So one great thing that Enneagram 5 individuals can do is embody some of that Enneagram 8 energy by sharing their knowledge with other people. Lots of Enneagram 5 people know so much about the topics that they're interested in. And sometimes they're scared to share with others because they feel like it's kind of like a competition where if they share their knowledge, they won't have that competitive advantage in the professional world, for example. But actually sharing is caring, not everything and not always, but choose wisely, because there are certain things that you know which can really help other people. And if you start talking about it, if you start educating others about it, if you share what you know with others, not only can that help other people, but it can also help you to grow in your level of self-confidence. It can really help you to feel more impactful in what you do and connect with those emotions that I was talking about earlier. Another way in which Enneagram 5 can move towards that 8 is to do leadership or mentoring, to take initiative and to take charge and to make decisions that impact others. Because in this way, Enneagram 5 starts to not only have the knowledge, but also use it, put it into practice, become a bit more extroverted, or at least develop their extroverted side. Because again, this is something that can balance their personality and help them to be a little bit more well-rounded and connect to their own level of self-confidence. These are really important elements. And I know Enneagram 5 individuals, which very often are introverts and thinkers, so whether they're INTJ, ISTJ, INTP, or ISTP, they can be other types too, but these are very common. I know such people who are libraries of knowledge in certain fields. They are extremely intelligent, they know so much, they've spent so much time digging deeper into certain topics and learning. And the real shift in themselves and in their level of self-confidence happens when they connect with their communities, when they start helping other people. Maybe they work in an office as an engineer or a data analyst or a IT professional. These are very common roles, researchers. And they're used to being kind of in their own bubble and working independently. But when they open up and start giving advice to their colleagues, mentoring some newer people that join their teams, taking leadership sometimes informally in meetings. This has an amazing effect on these people, and I've seen it with my own eyes. It brings passion to their professional sphere. It helps them develop other parts of themselves, which in turn contributes to their level of confidence because they can see that they can do these other things. They have these other skills that they were not aware they had. For example, when it comes to interacting with other people and building relationships. So these are the two main directions or categories that I would advise Enneagram 5 individuals to kind of invest their energy in. First, don't just rely on your head. Find practices and ways to connect with your emotional self and with your gut or your bodies. And secondly, move towards that Enneagram 8 and draw inspiration from the positive qualities of type 8. The leadership, the sharing, the mentoring, the more extroverted approach to groups and to people. I hope this was useful to you, and just so you know, I also offer self-awareness coaching sessions. My background is in psychology, psychotherapy, and I'm also a professional coach accredited by the International Coaching Federation, and I support individuals in deepening their level of self-awareness and as a result, their level of self-confidence. So if you're interested in that, if you want to learn more, check out the link in the description below. It will take you to my website and you can book through there. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time with another video on typology.